Call to order the Sholo Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting for Tuesday, March 8th, 2022. Roll call shows that all commissioners except for Commissioner Hilgart are present. I have the invocation by Commissioner Adams and a pledge of allegiance by Vice Chair Barlow. Please rise and join us if you'd like to.
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for the opportunity we have to meet and gather this day and be able to participate in community events. We ask that thou would bless us with thy spirit, that we might be able to do the things that would be pleasing to thee and beneficial to our community members. We're so very grateful for the moisture that's fallen on our land, that to help keep our forests healthy. We ask that if it be thy will, that thou would send more. We're also thankful for the health of our community, for the pandemic abating, and we ask that thou will continue to bless us with health and safety as we move through that. We're thankful for all the many blessings that we enjoy, and we say things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll be moving into new business, and item A is consideration of conditional use permit 602-04-244 submitted by Changepoint Integrated Health to allow for a thrift store on property located at 4551 South White Mountain Road, Sholo, Arizona, that being APN 212-03-006G. Ms. Bechtel-Cotter.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. The conditional use permit, or CUP, has been submitted by Jeff Oakes of Changepoint Integrated Health to allow for a thrift store located at 4551 South White Mountain Road, that being APN 212-03-006G. Applicant is moving their existing thrift store, which was located at 580 East Doosa Clubs, to the subject property. Staff has not received any complaints regarding the thrift store at the existing location. This thrift store benefits the White Mountain Safe House, a division of Changepoint Integrated Health. According to the applicant, they will have sign posted at the front door notifying customers that donations cannot be left at the front door and direct all donations to the loading dock at the rear of the building. The subject property is located within Suite 3 of the building and was formerly the location of Sears. The subject property is Zone C2, which is general commercial, and the sale of secondhand goods requires a CUP in the C2 zone. Current zoning of the surrounding properties includes to the north, south, east, and west is C2, which is general commercial. The current land uses of the surrounding properties include the north Park Pineway Shopping Center, the south Culver's, to the east vacant commercial, and to the west Law 54 interiors. Transmittal memos were sent to all affected agencies, and no applicable comments were received. No public comment has been received regarding the proposed development either. After reviewing the zoning ordinance standards for review, findings of fact, discussions with the applicant, and because the request is consistent with City of Sholo general plan, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve conditional use permit 602-04-244 submitted by Jeff Oakes of Changepoint Integrated Health to allow for a thrift store located at 4551 South White Mountain Road, that being APN 212-03-006G, subject to the following conditions. All development shall comply with applicable federal, state, and local requirements, including building permit, sign, and ADOT requirements. 2, donations shall only be accepted during regular business hours. 3, no storage of second-hand goods shall be permitted. 4, no outside donations or collections of goods or materials shall be permitted on the subject property. 5, any delivery vehicle associated with the business shall be parked at the rear of the structure when not being utilized and shall comply with Chapter 19.100.060B14 of City Code. 6, parking and lighting requirements of Chapter 19.105 of City Code shall be met. And number 7, this conditional use permit is non-transferable. Staff, as well as the applicant, are available for questions.
Okay, we'll bring it back. Any questions for staff? Okay, any questions for the applicant?
How do you, I see you got in here the loading dock, and when you receive donations and how do you plan on not making it somewhat of a catch bin, right? Like, full of unwanted stuff. Easy to just take it to the thrift store.
If I may, let me ask this question. Number 4, no outside donations to collection of goods and materials shall be permitted. Does that mean they're not allowed to have a collection bin there, or people are not allowed to bring it to them? Sorry, staff. So, well, no, I think that's what I'm trying to clarify his question. You're asking about donation of goods, but first, are the donation of goods allowed to be on there?
How do they?
Yes.
Correct.
I would defer the Commissioner Hatch's question to the applicant.
Okay.
And then perhaps if staff needs to weigh in, we'll certainly feel free to do so.
So if I can have the applicant step forward and just please state your name and location.
Hi, Paulette Davis, Director of Finance for Changepoint Integrated Health. I'm stepping in for CEO Jeff Oakes.
Did you understand Commissioner Hatch's question?
Sort of.
Well, and just
Okay.
so, just up the street where Hughes Supply used to be, there's a little thrift store there, and it's less than desirable to the eye. And this is in a place, a lot of traffic, a lot of commercial, a lot of development in the area. They just don't want to impact it anymore.
Right. So the location that we had was right next to Sonic before, right on the main street. And we do have staff that work, obviously not through midnight at night, but we have cameras there. We do know when people drop off after hours. The thrift store manager does stop by with her husband and bring a lot of that stuff in. We will also have signs out front letting people know that they cannot drop off out front. The loading dock is around the backside. You cannot see it from the road.
So you have a sizable area in the back that can receive and keep it as you process it in.
Yes, it's quite large. Yeah, so that's our main goal is we have transportation there. The plan is our transportation will be moving into the back of that building as well. So we do have somebody there pretty much around the clock. There are some nights that we won't, but like I said, we have cameras. And so if anything gets dropped off, then they'll take care of it.
When you say transportation, you talk about transportation for Changepoint?
Yeah. So
You're gonna use
it's a
it
pretty
dual?
big building. We're gonna, there's some offices in the back that we're gonna put our transportation people.
Right.
It's like separated and, kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah,
Utilize the space.
just, you understand my concern, right?
Yes, the building is also large. The thrift store floor plan is about 4,000 square feet. So never before in the other place that we've had it have we had so many donations that we were compiled outside for any length of time. We don't get those type of donations. And if we do, they go down into that ramp area until they can be filtered through the whole store, if that makes sense. So there's plenty of room. We won't have the overage. The store that you're referring to in Wagon Wheel, I think they just don't have the room inside.
Well, yeah, that's my,
No, our building is huge.
because you'd like take Goodwill across the street,
Mhm.
pretty clean, tidy,
Right.
and you're gonna have dumpsters, I'm assuming, for discards and.
Yes. Yep. And like I said, the manager and her husband are really good about that. They've kept the other area on Main Street relatively clean, and we filter through the junk as fast as we can. But the thing about this new building is that at least there's somewhere to put it till we filter through it. The other building, we had a little bit of a hard time doing that in a.
When you say put it, you're talking behind a privacy fence?
Oh no, inside the building. It's huge. I think the entire building is how many square feet? The entire building. 11. So, house on that roof floor.
Actually, could I get you, I'm sorry, please come forward.
Sorry.
Sorry.
The building owner.
Please state your name.
My name is Anna Banks, and I own the property. And the suite that they're in is a total of 11,000 square feet. The showroom floor is 6,000 square feet, and the warehouse is 4,000. So where the dock is, where they're talking about having the donation, that's 4,000 square feet that we can utilize. They came from 2,500 square feet where they were right next to Sonic. So, I mean, they're getting 5 times more space than what before.
I'm just trying to really vet out that concern of not of
Absolutely.
accumulation doesn't, so we turn around 6 months down the road and here we are.
Yes, and I absolutely understand and agree with that. Certainly, that's my property. I'm concerned about that as well. But I can tell you that it's 4,000 square feet that's just dedicated to the overflow. So I don't see that that would be a problem just because there's so much space in there. I mean, and it's a very tall, it's probably 16 feet back there too. So it's a very large space, just the warehouse itself. And then you're talking, then you still have 4 or 6,000 in the showroom floor too. So.
And our dedication to keep the 2,500 square foot place on Main Street clean obviously transfers to the new place. We want to keep it clean too. We don't want it looking junky either.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Any other questions for the applicant? Vice Chair Barlow.
So behind the building are there lights back there currently, or are you planning on adding lights back there, especially if there's going to be the possibility of people dropping things off when it's dark out and driving around the building?
Yes, I believe there is adequate lighting. I haven't been there at night yet, but I did bring our maintenance and safety guy. If he can answer those questions. Joint effort.
And please state your name.
I'm Lloyd Laney, and I'm the facilities manager for Changepoint Integrated Health. Lloyd Laney. There's adequate lighting in the front and the back of the building. I looked at there one today. There's a bulb that I need to change out. That's right over the rear entrance into the building. But as far as where donations and stuff are going to be stored, it's under 24-hour video surveillance, and we have ample lighting available currently.
Any further questions for the applicant? Okay, so just bring it back for clarification from staff. Thank you very much. On number 4, what does that mean exactly?
Right, so the conditions that you see staff recommended before you this evening, those are essentially the exact same conditions that they had on their previous site there next to Sonic. Most of those conditions were brought forward primarily out of the same concern that's been shared this evening regarding maintenance and upkeep of the building, concern about proliferation of donations and things like that. Number 4, basically what that says is what the applicant committed to previously this evening. If somebody wants to bring something there during the day, that it needs to be brought into the building and not just left outside for an extended period of time. It's also incumbent on the applicant and the property owner to make sure that things aren't being just dropped off in the middle of the night and being left there on the front porch or even back there on the loading dock. So that will be something that they'll just need to monitor as they move forward. But the primary reason for condition number 4 is exactly as discussed previous, that people wouldn't just come and drop things off there either on the back of the building or the front of the building and have it remain there for extended period of time or overnight, that type of thing.
Okay. Any other questions for staff? And I don't need to.
Did you already open it up to?
I did not open it. If anybody from the public has any questions they'd like to ask concerning this matter? Okay, if not, I'll close public comment and bring it back to the commission for consideration of a motion.
I move to approve CUP 60204-244 submitted by Jeff Oakes of Changepoint Integrated Health to allow for a thrift store located at 4551 South White Mountain Road, that being APN 212-03-006G, subject to staff recommendations.
I have a motion by Commissioner Lewis and I have a second by Commissioner Roberts. All in favor? Raise your hand, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes unanimous.
Thank you, Chair. With any conditional use permit, there is a 7-day appeal period. If no appeal is received by the city clerk within those 7 days, this will be considered effective.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, before we move on to item B, I would like to declare a conflict of interest for my involvement in the project on item B, and would like to recuse myself.
Okay. Thank you. You may do so. Okay, so we'll move to item B, which is consideration of a preliminary development plan for Woodside Recreational Vehicle Park, an 84-lot recreational vehicle subdivision submitted by IKD Investment LLC, located off South Vacation Village Drive, that being APN 210-33-029C, 029D, 210-36-029H, and 029J. Ms. Fechtelkotter.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. Bruce Ironside of IKD Investment LLC has submitted a preliminary development plan, or PDP, for project to be called Woodside Recreational Vehicle Park, RV Park. This project is proposed to be in the White Mountain Vacation Village property boundary and is approximately 7.24 acres in size. Maximum proposed unit count is 84 units. Ordinance 364, approved by City Council in July of 1993, established the White Mountain Vacation Village, or WMVV, Planned Unit Development, PUD. This PUD established the criteria for development within White Mountain Vacation Village. Included in this criteria was the allowance for private streets with a minimum width of 10 feet and 100 acres of RV park with a maximum overall density of 13.5 units per acre. A copy of Ordinance 364 has been included in the placket for your review. The submitted PDP indicates an overall density of 11.6 units per acre with 25-foot wide private roads consisting of an 18-foot wide improved surface and modified roll curb. Area A of the Woodside PDP will include 84 rental RV sites, a storage facility, activity center, and laundry facilities. Area B of Woodside PDP will include a sales office, sales and construction office, and snack shop or light eatery. Additionally, a trail has been proposed as a part of this development. Prior phases of WMVV have been developed as subdivisions, with each lot being owned by individual property owners. Like Woodfield, the applicant has stated that they are proposing to utilize this project as an RV park, with the lots being rented to individuals rather than being sold. This is consistent with the conceptual master plan, which indicates that up to 100 acres of White Mountain Vacation Village may be utilized as an RV park. Staff has reviewed the submitted PDP and has found that it meets the requirements of City Code as well as the WMVV PUD requirements. Previous phases of White Mountain Vacation Village include White Mountain Vacation Village Unit 2 Phase 1, Unit 2 Phase 2, Unit 2 Phase 3, Unit 3 Phase 1, Unit 3 Phase 2, Unit 4, and Woodfield RV Park. The development information for the previous phases of the White Mountain Vacation Village report is included in the staff summary report under the table with densities per unit. The applicant is proposing to phase the project in multiple phases consisting of approximately 40 units per phase, beginning on the southeast side of Area A. The schedule may be adjusted based on demand. Additionally, roadways, buildings, and lot lines may be adjusted slightly to accommodate the preservation of trees and other natural features. Zoning of the surrounding properties includes to the north, south, east, and west PUD, which is planned unit development. Land uses of the surrounding properties includes to the north, undeveloped portion of White Mountain Vacation Village, to the south, Woodfield RV Park, to the east, White Mountain Vacation Village Clubhouse, and to the west, undeveloped portion of White Mountain Vacation Village. Transmittal memos were sent to all affected agencies, and no applicable comments were received. No public comment has been received regarding this proposed development at the time the staff summary report was prepared. After reviewing the standards for review, the zoning ordinance, discussions with the applicant, and because the request is consistent with the City of Shiloh general plan, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve the preliminary development plan for Woodside Recreational Vehicle Park located in White Mountain Vacation Village, that being APN 210-33029C, 210-33029D, 21036-029H, and 21036-029J, subject to the following conditions. All development shall comply with federal, state, and local requirements. 2, the project, including number of lots and overall density, shall be in substantial conformance to the submitted PDP. Prior to construction taking place on the subject property, the city shall approve all required infrastructure design, including street layout, drainage plan, fire hydrant locations, water and wastewater plans. The applicant shall submit the master drainage plan with stamped letter indicating compliance with the master drainage plan. 4, all roads shall be surfaced in accordance with City Code, Chapter 17.20, Development Standards. Radius requirements for emergency vehicles shall be met. 5, permanent access along East Ellsworth Road will require associated roadway improvements that meet City Code. 6, all lots along East Ellsworth Road must be set back a minimum of 10 feet from the property line. 7, a solid material 6-foot high fence shall be installed along East Ellsworth Road. 8, the trail be constructed as a part of adjacent spaces. 9, individual lots shall not be sold unless developed in accordance with an approved improvement plan and final development plan. And 10, trees are of utmost importance. As much as possible, street design, lot layouts, and unit placement shall be coordinated in order to save trees. Staff, as well as the applicant, are available for questions.
Thank you, Ms. O'Connor. Bring it back to commission for questions for staff.
I have one.
Commissioner Adams.
I was hoping you could clarify a little bit on condition number 8. The trail shall be constructed as part of adjacent space. When we say trail, what are we specifically talking about as far as walking trail?
I believe in the original master plan for White Mountain Vacation Village, there is a trail that is shown on there. And as a part of the development in this area, it would be required to construct that trail that was originally included back when this was developed in 1993.
And to add to that, the submitted PDP shows a future trail approximately a 10-foot width along what would be spaces 7 through 18. They're kind of on the west side. So this would be basically a walking trail. Folks with their dogs and that type of thing. So.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lewis?
This question may be hard to answer, but I'm just trying to visualize it. I know the Vacation Village Drive, when you go in there and on this map, I'm just curious as to, I know it's in a curve, but how visible will these units be from the road, if at all, from the highway? Does that make sense? Kind of hard to answer.
These units, if you look at the subject property map there on the overhead, you can see outlined in red is where the actual RV park portion is proposed to be, give or take a little bit. You can see what is called Area B. That would be the proposed construction office with the coffee shop, restaurant type thing that they're proposing. What is shown as Area A is the actual RV unit. So it's a fairly significant distance from White Mountain Road. I don't know that it would be visible, if at all, from White Mountain Road.
That construction office, I'm assuming that's going to be a temporary trailer that we normally see that's going to be,
No.
or is that going to be a permanent building?
It's a permanent building. It would be associated with Woodfield as well as this RV park. It would give them a permanent presence for an office there between the two projects. They're also proposing some more kind of like consumer-oriented amenities with that office.
Okay.
And I think I saw Commissioner Roberts.
The trail that they're talking about, is that going to be primarily for the residents of that RV park, or would it be open to the public?
I would defer that question to the applicant.
Do we have any other further questions for staff? Not, I'd ask the applicant if you would come forward, please, sir. State your name and your address, please.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Bruce Ironside, and I represent an IKD investment for your record here in Show Low. Thanks for the opportunity to present this project and answer any of your questions. Regarding the trail, probably technically it would be a private trail built for the primary use of the White Mountain Vacation Village Master Plan community. But it wouldn't be gated off, like, it's not gonna be restricted, physically, very likely. It attaches right to Ellsworth Road, the right of way there. And so, in theory, our concept would be that there may be residents, part of this project or even in the area, that might walk to those shops rather than get out on our highway and buy a coffee or a slice of pizza or whatever we might be able to put over there.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you, sir, for your time.
You're welcome.
That, I'll open it to any members of the public that would like to make comment. Seeing none, we'll close that and move back to any other questions, comments, or entertain a motion. Commissioner Roberts.
I move to approve this conditional use permit. I move to recommend approval of the preliminary development plan, noting that it's preliminary. The preliminary development plan for Woodside Recreational Vehicle Park, an 84-lot recreational vehicle subdivision located in the White Mountain Vacation Village development, subject to the conditions of approval specified by staff, and forward this recommendation to the City Council.
We have a motion by Commissioner Roberts.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to point out to the commission and to Commissioner Roberts, where it says a recreational vehicle subdivision. At this point, they're not proposing to sell the lots, so it would actually be a recreational vehicle park. Staff should have caught that, so it's no reflection on Mr. Roberts and his motion, but it should state recreational vehicle park, not recreational vehicle subdivision.
Okay, do we need to restate then? No? Okay. So would you make that,
I can remake the whole
well, no, you just make
thing, but I'm also
Just agree with
move
the change.
to
All you need to do is agree with the change, Doug. If you're okay
agree with the change.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Roberts, second by Commissioner Adams. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. So we'll bring back in, yes,
Yeah,
you
I
have
was
something
gonna,
to say, of
no,
course.
I was just gonna say, we need to get Commissioner or Vice Chair
Vice Chair
Barlow
Barlow can come
back
back in. TV's a wonderful thing.
This has been scheduled for consideration by the City Council at their next regular meeting, which will be a week from tonight.
Okay, with that, we'll move to item C. Consideration of extension of conditional use permit 602-04-184 submitted by Eric Ritz of Hatch Construction and Paving to allow for excavation, grading, and processing of rock-related materials at 4701 East Deuce of Clubs, that being APN 210-25-008B, 008C, 008D, and 006K. Ms. Beckfelgott.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. At its regular meeting of September 8th, 2015, the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously approved conditional use permit 602-04-184 submitted by Eric Ritz of Hatch Construction and Paving to allow for excavation, grading, and processing of rock-related materials at 4701 East Deuce of Clubs, that being APN 210-25-008, 008C, 008D, 008K. I'm sorry, 006K. The actual grading permit was issued on March 21st of 2016. Condition number 10 of this conditional use permit states, this conditional use permit shall be valid for a period of 5 years. It is not transferable. The Planning and Zoning Commission may grant additional 2-year extensions as requested by the applicant, provided all conditions of approval are met. Staff recently contacted the applicant requesting an update of the operations at the subject property. As a result of this discussion, the applicant has submitted a letter requesting a 2-year extension to the conditional use permit as permitted under Condition 10. This would be the first extension approved by the Commission. If approved, this extension would apply for the 2-year period for September 15th, 2020 to September 15th, 2022. Staff is also recommending that the commission approve a second 2-year extension, which would apply to the time period from September 15th, 2022 to September 15th, 2024. A revised phasing plan has been submitted with this request. All other previous conditions of approval are in compliance. Staff has not received any complaints from neighboring property owners regarding this operation. Current zoning of the surrounding properties includes to the north, I-1 light industrial, to the south, PUD planned unit development, to the east, AR-43X single-family residential, manufactured homes excluded, 43,000 square feet, and to the west, I-2 heavy industrial. The surrounding land uses of the properties includes to the north, light industrial, to the south, vacant PUD, to the east, vacant agricultural residential, and to the west, heavy industrial. Original condition of CUP 602-04184R. 1. All development shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements, including but not limited to Arizona Department of Environmental Quality, Arizona Pollutant Discharge Elimination Systems, Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan and Permit, required sections 404 and 401 of the Clean Water Act, and all applicable federal aviation FAA requirements. 2. All lighting shall comply with Division 5 of City Code. Any nighttime illumination shall be shielded downward to help facilitate nighttime airport operations. As indicated in the letter from the applicant dated August 19, 2015, hours of operation shall be limited to 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. 4. Dust and smoke from the grading and processing operations shall comply with all air quality requirements and shall not adversely impact neighboring properties or airport operations. Dust control measures, including water trucks and spraying facilities on equipment, shall be utilized. 5. Prior to the commencement of grading and processing operations, a revegetation plan shall be submitted for approval, with a bond sufficient to cover the scope of the regrading and revegetation conveyed to the city. This may be done in phases. Regrading and revegetation shall be completed on each phase prior to commencement of operations on the next phase. 6. Existing trees shall not be removed until grading and processing commence. Only trees located within the affected areas for racetrack operations shall be removed. 7. A master drainage plan is required for the entire project. Stormwater detention will be required. Updated drainage and grading plan shall be completed and submitted to the city while grading and processing operations are undergoing. The cessation of grading and processing operations at each phase. All affected areas shall be regraded and revegetated in accordance with the approved vegetation plan. 8. Any blasting shall be done in accordance with the federal, state, and city codes and shall be coordinated through the City of Shola Police Department, with notice also given to the Shola Regional Airport and Planning and Zoning Department. The applicant shall be responsible for ensuring that radio frequencies do not interfere with airport operations and that the existing airport data gathering station is not damaged due to any activity on the subject property. If blasting is utilized, a blasting schedule shall be provided to all adjacent property owners. A certificate of insurance acceptable to the city attorney, naming the city as an additional insured, shall be provided prior to any blasting taking place. 9. All development shall be done in substantial conformance to the submitted preliminary grading plan and the submitted letter dated August 19, 2015. The applicant shall not negatively impact any existing easements located on the subject property. Grading and processing operations shall be limited to that shown on the preliminary grading plan and approved grading and drainage plans. Noise attenuation shall be accomplished through the use of berms or walls. And 10, this conditional use permit shall be valid for a period of 5 years and is not transferable. The Planning and Zoning Commission may grant 2 additional 2-year extensions as requested by the applicant, provided all conditions of approval are met. After reviewing the zoning ordinance, standards for review, findings of fact, discussions with the applicant, and because the request is consistent with the City of Shola general plan, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve a 2-year extension to conditional use permit 602-04184, submitted by Eric Ritz of Hatch Construction and Paving to allow for excavation, grading, and processing of rock related materials located at 471 East Dusa Clubs, that being APN 210-25008B, 008C, 008D, and 006K, subject to the conditions of approval. Staff, as well as the applicant, are available for questions.
Okay, so let's thank you, Ms. Beckler-Cotter. Let's move to any questions for staff first. Commissioner Lewis.
I'm just wondering about the dates. Did we miss something? That we're proving something back to 2020? Yeah.
Oops.
Thanks for bringing that up.
We're a year and a half behind.
Yeah, the dates are correct. This is just something that I would like to be able to blame on something other than the fact that we should have brought it to you sooner and we didn't. So we are bringing it to you with the dates for the 2-year extension from the end of the 5 years, which is where you see the September 15th of 2020. So it is a little bit retroactive. We are also recommending that you guys go ahead and extend for an additional 2 years. So we're not bringing this back to you in 6 months from now. So
2 for 1. That's what we're doing.
basically, yes.
Commissioner Roberts.
So would that additional extension count as a second extension?
Essentially, yes. Yeah, the first extension would be from 2020 to 22. The second extension would be from 22 to 24.
And originally this was approved for 2 additional extensions.
There was no limit on the number of extensions. It was 5 years with an unstated amount of 2-year extensions being able to be granted.
Additional. Yeah.
Yes.
I apologize if that was unclear.
So you're capping it to be done by 2024?
That would probably be a question for the applicant.
So if they're not done by 2024, they would come back to the commission in 2024 and not 2025 to get an additional 2-year extension at that point.
They're on the radar now.
Any other questions for staff? Any questions for the applicant?
Oh, I'm sorry, one more for staff. I'm
For
sorry.
staff, Commissioner Adams.
Just at a high level, can you define blasting? What we're saying here, like in condition 8? I'm not sure I fully
Right.
follow that.
So essentially what they do is they drill holes down into the rock and place an explosive down into those holes and then detonate that explosive. The intent is with the basalt that's there is that will promote cracking within the rock that's already down there,
Sure.
which makes it easier to excavate.
Okay.
And I just additional, so it's a quarry basically is what we're talking about, and they're mining out the rock.
So basically, they're trying to accomplish 2 things there, as was previously discussed in 2015. Primarily, they're trying to remove the rock. It's useful to them in their business operations. They sell it, they use it as road base, they mix it in with their asphalt that they produce there. It can go into concrete, just a number of products that they're involved with. Secondly, the property itself has a pretty severe slope from front to back. And so what they're also looking to do with this is as they remove the rock, they're actually grading the site to make it flatter so that it becomes more usable for them or for future either industrial or commercial uses in the future.
Okay.
So they're not leaving a big hole in the ground like what you normally think of when you hear the word quarry. They're removing the rock, they're replacing that with fill, and then grading that to a flatter standpoint.
Okay, and because of that, there wouldn't be any expectation of them having a definitive end of time, so they could continually ask for 2 years extension just for the fact that they're finding more material that could be useful
Correct.
and making a benefit to the area.
So originally, when they started this, they indicated a fairly aggressive schedule. That's shown on the first phasing plan that's part of your packet. When I met with Mr. Ritz earlier, I asked him, I said, hey, it seems like it's taken longer to get this out than what you originally proposed. Is that because there's just more material than you originally thought, or it's taking longer to get it out of the ground? And he said it's a combination of both. So that's why the open-ended number of extensions, they can come back if it ends up taking longer, market conditions, whatever. We're not just going to go in and just arbitrarily shut them down. They have the ability to come back to the commission and ask for that extension.
Thank you. Any Commissioner Roberts?
Have they indicated any designated plan for where the racetrack used to be?
So the racetrack is still there. In discussions with Mr. Ritz. If there was somebody who came forward with a valid business plan, they would be willing to look at that for continued operation of the racetrack. At this point, that's still an option if somebody wanted to come forward and promote that.
Any other questions for staff? Any questions for the applicant? That'll open it up for anybody in the public who would like to give any input. Close that public input and bring it back to the commission for any further questions, comments, or if you'd like to entertain a motion. I'd like to entertain a motion.
I move to approve the extension of CUP 602-04184 submitted by Eric Ritz of Hatch Construction and Paving to allow for excavation, grading, and processing of rock-related materials at 4701 East Deuce of Clubs, that being APN 21025-008B, 008C, 008D, and 006K, subject to the original conditions of approval.
And so motion by Commissioner Hatch. Get a
I
second.
second that.
Second by Commissioner Roberts. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. Nothing. Okay.
Is that?
With
do we have
that,
to do it twice?
what's that?
Do we have to do it twice?
No,
it was
so
for-
that motion would be for 2020 to 22 and 22 to 24, as outlined in the staff summary.
So item 6 is a call to the public. If there's anybody that has anything to speak to the public, they can have you approach now and I can read the boilerplate. If not, we'll dispense with that. Item number 7 is approval of minutes. So need to approve Planning Zoning Commission regular meeting of February 8th, 2022. Entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I
Commissioner
move to
Roberts,
approve the minutes from the February 8th, 2022 meeting.
and I'll second them. And all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No, so that passes unanimously. Summary of current events. We'll start with Commissioner Hatch.
Just another great day here in Cholo, Arizona.
With lots of
Mr.
snow.
Roberts.
With lots of snow. Yay.
Commissioner Lewis.
Just a reminder to remember the people of Ukraine and our world leaders.
Commissioner Adams.
Yeah, just like to recognize both the boys and the girls varsity basketball programs for a great season. They had a good playoff run, specifically the girls. So just wanted to kind of do a shout out to them.
Vice Chair Farley.
Nothing to add tonight.
So I just want to say, I've sat in this commission now for quite a bit and learned a lot, been in a bunch of different meetings, seeing what we do as a city and what the director Gastis does, and it's a tough job sometimes. And when we have situations that happened here in the community, unfortunately, where we had a building caught fire and burned, when you're asked to do things in building and you seem like it's overbearing, sprinklers, things like that, part of building code are there to protect property and to protect people's jobs. So we have to think past just the cost of building a building sometimes and thinks about what the cost of that building going down in operations is. So I applaud our staff for standing the line and doing the things and asking things to get done right. It's good that we have a department like that does that. So thank you. Director Trugassis.
Just one quick thing. Next week is spring break, so keep an eye out. Kids will be a little bit more active. They won't be in school. Just a couple seconds looking both ways before you go somewhere might make the difference. So encourage people to be a little more careful next week. That's it.
Thank you. With no more business, I'll call this meeting to adjourn.